in my uncle's house. I came even with a busted foot because I'll be leaving for Finland on the 22nd of August. For at least 3 years after that, I won't be meeting face to face with any of my close relatives for that long. The outside is so beautiful. That building over there is the old Mymensingh Archaeological Museum. It's currently abandoned. The gates are locked. All the exhibits have been moved to another location called the Shoshi Villa. You can see from the architecture, right? This compound, it's probably really old. Needless to say. This is the temple. The puja is currently not going, so this is my maternal native village. It's called Kundolbalia. Almost nobody stays here right now. When I was little, this place was full of people, but right now, all the young people went to the cities. These are all fish. Belongs to my uncle. I'm gonna feed the fish. Okay, here goes nothing. 14 ponds like this. My uncle owns that many. He's actually a doctor, but the fishing business is a side business. This is how you know I'm at a village. Yeah, there is running water. There ain't much speed, but look at that. That's Billy. I don't know if that's his name, but it's a giant fucking spider. That's the kitchen. That's the analog kitchen. That's the modern kitchen. Even with the electricity back, you can see that this village is a ghost village at this point. These are the mud stoves. We call them unun in our country, but it's a pain in the ass to get them running. So they used, after the electricity came back, they used a modern amenity. Unfortunately, it's a rice cooker, but they did cook something amazing. Oh my god, if only you could smell this. It's called khichdi or khichuri, mix of lentil, spices and rice, and it's one of the best food that has ever been invented. This is how they process fish. So they're frying the fish. 2 tilapias. These 2 fish were 1 kilogram. So these are huge fish. This smell is to die for. The oil is still sizzling. I'm just eating it without any rice, which is kind of a blasphemy in our country. But I want to make this point while eating the fish. I don't know why, but I want to. So you guys have to listen. Fish have the most painful death across all farmed animal. In the European laws, I think they knock the animal out before butchering it, or do a lot of things so that it won't suffer. They're kind of getting in a conflict with the kosher and the halal traditions, but they have their own philosophy. Most of the world, other than Europe, animals are factory farmed in giant meat factories. So basically small cubicles in giant-ass warehouse-sized buildings where a cow or a pig will stay from their 1 day old to the day they are butchered. I don't even want to talk about milk cows. Most cows in general, I would say, are very attached to their calves. If you take the calves away, that's a lot of psychological pressure for them. The point I was trying to make is most animals suffer. Chickens suffer a lot. We eat baby chickens, 6 weeks old. 4 weeks of that, they kind of grow, but they have been genetically engineered to grow that fast as babies. In the last 2 weeks, they grow so big that their own bones cannot support their structure, so they just kind of sit around all day on top of a floor of droppings, and that gives them, I think, alkaline burns. So their skin is always rashy and itchy and burning, and their bones are brittle. I would not want to be a chicken in their last 2 weeks of life. According to me, fish die the most gruesome death. I just don't see it. Chicken, they're walking around or sitting around with their alkaline burns in pain. Take them, butcher them, they die. Cows are, and goats, I guess, mutton, goats, sheeps. They're also butchered before dying. In our country, like there's a halal ritual. In India, say, they knock them out. Fish suffocate to death. If they die first, I think there's a necrosis process or something. Like the koi fish in our country. Not the koi, Japanese koi, but there's a special Bangladeshi koi fish. It's quite different. They live for like days, even if you take them out of water. And suffocating to death is not fun for any animal, I would say. That could take hours and hours and hours. Most of the fish we buy from our local bazaars are locally sourced. If they buy ocean fish and then they have to transport that to the capital city, they have to freeze it and put it in ice, and I said that fish would be dead by that point. I think, I'm not really sure. Then only when in the local bazaar a customer comes and I'll take that fish, then they kill it. And yeah, that's why I think that fish suffered the most terrifying death, even though fish is probably my most favorite of the meats. And the fact that I'm talking about that kind of stuff while eating a fish, I just want to say that I've made peace with our sins. I'm not going to stop eating meat. However, I do wish that there was some kind of technology, future technology. You could produce large quantities of any kind of meat in labs or fabrication, I would say. But we're not at that point right now. Ethically, morally, I think that we as humans, as the apex predator of this planet, should be treating our animals better. All animals. Pigs are as intelligent as dogs, but we still treat them like shit. Ethically speaking, I think that eating animals is bad. I've made peace with the fact that I love protein, I love going to the gym, I love resistance training, I love eating meat, I love the taste of it. I also love vegetable. I'm not picky about food. As long as it's tasty, I'll eat it. And meat, fish, they are definitely tasty. Even if I won't stop eating meat, I think it's important that I acknowledge that I'm sustaining myself by taking away the life of another creature. If you kill someone, rob him, and thank him for his money, that does little for the dead person. But at least for most animals, even if they do have a large capacity to suffer, in most of the developed countries, they're butchered in a painless way. I lost my point, but I guess the topic is so complicated that there wasn't really a point other than the fact that we humans are horrible creatures and meat and fish is very delicious to eat. So the electricity is out again, but you can't see anything. I have a charger light. I'm going to the washroom. This cabin is the washroom cabin. I don't know if you can see it. And after that, I'll be leaving. It was a really short visit, but I had the best fish in my life. I got to relive some memories of my mother, of my childhood. I'm gonna miss this place.